Okay, but let's go back to the vibration because I love it. It's so good that everything is vibration because it is. I like
Okay.
to my understanding,
Okay.
anything that is energy, anything that is matter is energy. It vibrates on one frequency or another. So now the fact that we're a musician, like you're a musician and you can hear it, is beautiful. And that's very particular to the circumstances that we have developed here on
Right.
Earth
Right. With sound, with air.
with air, because Earth has air, so we can transmit those energies and vibrations, and we hear them, and it's beautiful, and we can tweak them so that we can
Right.
make music, and it sounds beautiful. It doesn't mean that on other parts of the whole universe, where there is no air, where there is no means of transmitting
Sure.
vibration that is perceivable to us, in ways of hearing it or smelling or whatever,
Okay.
that there is no vibrations. There is vibrations. It's just us humans that might not be able to perceive those. So, God may be way beyond what we want God to be. We want God to explain all our story, and we say there is no God if he or she fails to do so. But if, let's say, God is everything, you and me and the whole universe, it could be a God by just creating those vibrations everywhere in the fucking universe, and making it all happen.
Yeah, I get that. I mean,
Yeah.
but I feel like my explanation
Uh-huh.
and stopping where I stop in the question, the exploration, at the level of just the vibration,
Yeah.
is something that I can understand, that I can kind of experiment with,
Yeah.
and that to me sounds real. And I think that making the leap that you make
Uh-huh.
is going beyond that into the world of imagination
It's not imagination, like,
and faith,
no, no, no.
essentially.
It's not imagination. It's something we haven't explored yet because we're not capable of exploring. We're not capable of exploring other universes.
Right, and
We're not capable of.
I want to deal with what we know.
Sure, but it doesn't mean that what we know
Listen,
explains the existence of God or
dude,
not.
it, hey, God could end up being Zeus on Mount Olympus.
Yeah,
I have no
exactly.
idea. I could totally be
I
wrong.
wish God was like, in the
Yeah,
sparkling thing and
right,
dancing all the time, and, like,
right.
having unicorn farms.
See, I can't go with fantasy.
I know,
You
but
know,
I
I
think
really
that
can't. I can't go with
that
fantasy.
deleting the fantasy.
It's okay for you if that's what you
Mm,
want. I'm just, you started this off asking me what did I think, and I'm telling you that's how I got to where I am because this is something very concrete that I can hold on to,
right.
and that totally fucking marvels
Yeah.
my imagination. Because then when I take it out into, because earlier I said that micro um, physics is the same as cosmology.
Yeah.
When I take it out into the universe, it turns out that like these planets that are out there, these solar systems, these whole galaxies are separated by billion, okay, in a typical movie, when a rocket ship, goes through an asteroid field, they're like dodging rocks right and left, right?
Yay.
Okay, in real life, that never happens. You know why? Because the asteroids are like, thousands of kilometers apart.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like when we send a thing into space, whether it's Voyager 1 or what,
Yeah.
we don't even take that into account.
Right. Like, good luck finding
Because
it.
it's like it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They're not going to hit one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like space is empty space,
Right.
and micro, the cosmology on the micro level is empty space. And the very
Yeah.
fact that you have these galaxies that were created from, the Big Bang or whatever,
Yeah.
but, that are essentially stardust
Uh-huh.
collecting and coalescing into a planet. And I like to imagine that. It's like fog out there,
Yeah.
literally a fog of just energy
Yeah.
coming together to create a Zibi or Bert. You know,
One fog
And
is
to
not
me-
enough.
and to me, that's I
Yeah.
find that incredibly
Oh,
satisfying.
yeah.
And I don't understand why anybody would want to go beyond that and say, oh, but there still might be a God.
There is what?
There might be a God beyond that. It's like, Jesus, that's pretty fucking amazing that we have the mental capacity to imagine just that.
I think the
And to me,
Yeah.
imagining a God is just a fantasy. It's just, and let's face it, in reality, we always invoke those gods to hurt people.
that's hitting it on, like, how do you say hitting the nail on its head?
Hitting the nail on the head, yeah.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
say that? I
Yeah.
think that's exactly it, because that's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So it must be it. So what I tried to say is that if we try to describe God by the limited idea of what we can imagine by being humans and only being exposed to our human lives here on this planet for the past 2,000, 5,000 years, that we could describe it, that's like, it's comparable to winning fucking lotto.
Yeah,
Because it could be true, but it
Yeah,
couldn't.
yeah,
Like,
right.
let's not do it.
Right.
That's why, I was raised in a very, not very Catholic, but like a traditional family
Sure.
where I would go to
Right.
church
So
and
was I.
visit.
I was too.
And it was a given,
Right.
that there is God. It was a given.
Right.
So the fact that we started traveling, we started exploring ourselves, we started asking questions while we were like out there, I think it brings us closer to, I don't think even answers, but I think it brings us closer to questioning what the belief
yeah.
really is.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I don't want to believe what is given, because I think it's a man-made belief system that is like a few thousand years old. And why would I want to believe that within 2,000 years you can explain everything that happened within billions of years that the universe
Right.
is made of?
Right.
I just don't believe that. That's why I'm asking and I'm questioning things. But I think what's important is that we keep looking for. I don't even know if we keep looking for. Does God want? If God would exist, does God want us to look for? The truth, to believe that something is there.
Good point. Yeah, really.
It's like.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
does your family and friends, do you think they're having these kind of philosophical discussions in their own brain or with their friends? I honestly don't think my family and friends generally are. I would like to hope they are, but I generally think they kind of, take what they were handed for granted. And let me just add one more thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't care whether you believe in the spaghetti monster as God, or Zeus as God, or a porpoise as God, or Jesus as God. If it satisfies a certain need for you and satisfies you, I think that's great, because that's what physics is doing to me. It's just satisfying my need to understand. What I would object to, and I know this is weird, is if you use that belief then turn around and use it to hurt people. And that's what we see so many times with religions that are more organized. So nobody is, with my belief, is out there saying, oh, trans people shouldn't be allowed to, exist or whatever. Nobody's saying gay marriage, I believe in string theory, therefore gay people shouldn't be allowed. Nobody's doing that, But there are belief systems that people are using to invoke those kind of rules.
I think what's dangerous, it's not that we think about it in terms of the few past decades or even centuries. I think what's dangerous is that once it's because the gods or the representatives of gods, being, let's say, Jesus and Moses, and even like Buddha being connected to the Enlightenment. Like it's all people. If we start questioning that a god is something similar to a human being, we lose the whole faith in something bigger than us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think this is where I struggle to agree
Okay.
that God is comparable to humans. Therefore, if we decide that God doesn't exist because there cannot be another human taking care of everything, then we're all atheists.
But we are all atheists.
Well, are we? And
Yeah, we
then
are.
we believe.
Of course we are.
Well, hear me out. Then we believe. Then when we die, there is nothingness. Like, well, wait a minute.
Why is there nothingness when we die? Just because we're atheists?
Well,
How does that lead? How does
What
one
do you
lead to
believe?
the other?
what do you believe? What happens
Well,
when we die?
I think we're all connected.
What do you believe when? What happens to us when we
I think
die?
we're all connected through this sense of vibration and harmony.
What
I
do
think
you believe
I think
happens?
you, that tree, that rock, we're all connected. And when you die,
Yeah.
it's just, the consciousness of Zibi is all that goes away. I mean, you become part of that energy system, which you already are a part of that energy system. You're already part of that. You're just,
What about my consciousness?
I don't know about that.
There you go. So I think that's the
Well, I don't know.
distinction.
But I mean, so what?
Huh?
Why is that important?
I don't know. What
Why
are
is
we
it-
talking at all? That like,
No, I mean, seriously, why is it important that Zibi has to exist in a conscious form after he's dead?
he doesn't have to. But why is it important? Why is it a thing that we cancel the idea that Zibi cannot exist upon?
I'm not canceling it. Listen,
Okay.
I think whatever you want to believe, like I said.
No.
if you have
It's
this,
exactly what I'm thinking. Like you're saying, whatever you want to believe.
right.
That's where I'm going with that. I think that if we were more open to more religions, or even not religions, I hate the fucking word religion because it limits us to whatever a certain group of people on a certain region of this planet. Certain region of this planet believes, and then we identify ourselves with it or not. We are made to identify ourselves with it by being born into families that believe it, being raised by societies that believe it, that tell us what to believe in, and so on. If we were more open to just exploring the idea of what is out there, and maybe not going so far to call it a god and to identify the god with something similar to what a human being is, then maybe we would start thinking of everything, the physical and the non-physical, of being as part of vibrations we're talking about, as part of some higher intelligence that you don't have to what's the name? What's the word? No, personifies.
Oh, personify.
And we would be more at ease to understand that we are just a part of the whole, and later on we're still going to be a part of it in some other way. It doesn't mean that we're dying and there's nothingness after that. That's what, like, personally, it's how do you say strucks with me?
Sticks with you.
It bothers me that many people think that there is, like, we die and then there is nothing after that happening to us.
I'm definitely not saying that. I think that typically in the Christian mythology I was brought up in, when you die, some form of your conscious being goes to another place.
Oh, that's
And you're,
yeah.
and yeah, of course, it's ridiculous. And
Yeah,
you,
like heaven and
right,
hell.
yeah,
Like,
and oddly
why?
enough, the Bible never mentions hell.
Yeah, why would we want to believe
So,
in that?
but okay, so let me just run with this for a bit.
Okay.
Okay, so that was what I was brought up. And
Uh-huh.
I understand that because we have such, as human beings, we have such a limited perception of this world and this world's magnificence. So, for example, you and I see this world through our eyes, and our eyes are only capable of seeing a tiny portion
Hmm.
of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Okay.
I cannot imagine what it would be like to have that expanded
Uh-huh.
and see the whole, or even like 90% or 50% of the electro. I mean, to me, that's what happens when you die. And I think that, like, when that happens in that moment and you become part of, for, for lack of a better word, a consciousness that includes everything, trees, rocks, plants, ants, you become,
Universe is millions
you
of
become,
light
yeah,
years away.
you become part of that consciousness.
Yeah.
And suddenly you see the entirety of everything. Then Zibi, Bert, Janet, whoever I was while I had this physical form becomes insignificant. Totally insignificant. It's like you become something, a part of something that's so huge, you know, um, that you don't even think about it. It's sort of like, I mean, yesterday I had a hangnail on my thumb that was driving me crazy. And now I can't even remember what it felt like.
So maybe religions are meant to make us feel more significant.
Totally. Oh, yeah, of course. That's
Right.
why we can go kill people. My
Okay.
religion's better than yours.
All right. So like imagine yourself. Let's wrap it up
Okay.
in a few sentences.
Okay.
And I loved this conversation, and I wanted to.
No, it's great. I'm
to-
glad we
yeah.
did it. I'm so happy. that we
So
did
I
it.
think we should do it more often. And
Okay.
and I think the end of
You're on the highway tomorrow, by the way. And
Wow.
welcome for being here. Thank you.
right, like and subscribe. I
Yeah.
think what we should do at the end of every episode is ask ourselves and answer the question. If you were, oh, I'm gonna cry. If
Go ahead.
you were going to like see me born, like the moment I was born,
Uh-huh.
and I would see you the moment you are born, the moment
Sure.
you get the first, breath. Forget it, like whatever it identifies as the moment you're born.
Sure.
And you would look the kid in the eyes, and you would know that you have something that to say that the kid would understand. What would you tell the kid? What would you tell me? How to live my
You
life
know,
compared, like,
okay. Yeah.
in relation to what we were talking about.
I think, first off, I wouldn't tell them how to live. I would, there, all I can imagine is the final scene in 2001: A Space Odyssey, when the cosmic child is born in the heavens, and the fact that you are stardust taking the form of life, and you are going to return to stardust, and you are going to be once again part of something immense and incredible. Enjoy your short little brief moment as a human being. And I think that there's a trajectory to stardust.
Uh-huh.
I honestly believe, CB, that whatever stardust you were made of, that it was headed, the vibrations that are essential to what that stardust is were shooting you in a direction, just as my stardust and vibrations were shooting me in a direction. and that this thing we call love is when those clouds of stardust pass through each other.
Okay.
And I love that. I
Yeah.
love that description. I love thinking of life that way. And I also have no problem with the very limited time we get to have as this physical form, as Zibi and Bert,
Oh, fuck yeah.
and the fact that we will return to stardust again. And whether we carry a consciousness, I will say this. I do think there's an cumulative effect of stardust encountering each other and creating positive, good music. You know, good music. I will say that. I think that when stardust and the vibrations pass through each other and they manage to resonate and make a fucking rock and hit song, yeah, I think if there's a purpose to life, that's it right there.
Right. Okay. Wow, that's cool.
I love you.
I love you. So I would say to you to use this fucking chance you were just given and go with the flow, but go with the explore and I think that's what we're capable of. What we are capable of as humans to steer our experiences towards the good vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you to keep in the back of your whatever mind understanding that we are able to steer those through those vibrations, and when we do, when we reach the level that we are able to influence the vibrations, we are able to change those and increase the good ones. So the life would be the search for the vibrations that bring us further, that bring us to the good, and that would be the purpose of your existence here, because I don't know anything else more significant, more important than sinking to the good vibrations, being love, being laughter, being joy, and anything that makes us connect to the good, which I believe myself, I wouldn't tell you this, but I would believe that this is God, and this is my religion. So that's what I would tell you.
Thank you all for listening.
Thank you for listening.